Hi, my name is Steve Eady. I'm with the Sauk Valley Educational Forum, Voters Forum, and we're here with Roger K. Davis, who's running as a Green candidate in the 17th Congressional District.
Yes.
And Roger's going to answer a series of questions today, and he received these 12 questions prior to the interview, just like all our candidates, and he's going to go ahead and limit his answers to under 4 minutes so we can get these posted on YouTube. So, Roger, I'll start right out and welcome you, and I want to give you the first question. What are your ideas on how to reduce the spending in Washington?
Well, I think I put down there, cut the pork out first. Then if we can implement what I got for Social Security and for health care, that would limit the costs for the retirement system and the medical system for the federal government. And I think to bring more jobs back also, you got to get the economy going. To get the economy going, you get more tax money.
Okay. So you mentioned something about Social Security. What's your plan for that?
It was a plan where it was basically you put in $25 a week, which is a savings bond, and you keep putting that $25 in. And I think it was over a period of like 42 years, you ended up with I think it was $1,800 a week. It was about $6,400 for the 40-some, I think for the 42 years, and if it was 36, it was $800 a week.
So it's an individual retirement account.
It's an individual retirement account. It's yours. It goes with you.
So it's kind of like privatizing it, but you're saying you still do it through the government, but it's your money. It's not anyone else. They cannot use it for anything else.
Right. They can't use it for anything else like they did in Social Security. It's your name. When you die, it goes with you. It buries you, and your beneficiary gets it.
Okay. Back on the spending again, would you favor any legislation that caps federal spending or ties spending to a % of GDP?
I said no, that I wouldn't, because certain times dictate what you have to do. When the economy is not going great, you got to get the jobs there. And if you're saying that we're gonna cap this, well, then you have to turn around and vote to uncap it. I think if they use just level, common sense, and we have a balanced budget. That's what I want, is a balanced budget.
A balanced budget. So what you're saying then is that if the times are tough, you want to use the government to help stimulate the economy.
Yes, we can do that. I think that would probably be the best. Well, it's not one that I favor, but it will probably be the best one.
What do you favor?
Well, I would like to say that, bring our jobs back here where they belong. We've spent tax money for corporations to move them overseas. We should have never done that to begin with. They sold you a bill of goods when they're talking about the world economy. Well, we got to worry about the American economy and American jobs. I know you can't force the manufacturers to stay here, but if they want to move, then put an import tax on the product they bring back in. Check it out. Make sure that it's legal to be here. There's no lead paint in it. There's no nails or sawdust in the toys and stuff.
Okay. What are the positive aspects of our healthcare system today that set it apart from the systems employed by other countries?
Well, one, I think you get to choose where you want to go. You can, if you can afford it, you have healthcare insurance, and a lot of people can't afford it, and that's where we need a national healthcare insurance program, not necessarily the one that's being out there now. I would like to see it run some way near to what they do for Medicare B. You spend about $100 a month, and then your doctors and stuff is covered. I think that we could do the same thing if everybody spends about $100 a month. You're talking about 300 million people. That's quite a bit of money each month. And then we can bid out to insurance companies to see, who wants to cover this group and this and that group, and let the people decide what group they want to go with, and go from there.
So let me try to get some clarity in your answer here. Are you saying you want a single-payer insurance system by the government, or do you want to have the private organizations take care of it? What exactly are when you talk about a national coverage, what does that entail?
Well, it's going to be both. It's going to be one that's run by the government, like Social Security. with some changes. It's going to be also where the government goes out and bids out and contracts out your insurance coverage, and the person gets to pick what plan you want to go with, and make sure that everybody is covered, but it's paid for by you, by the person that uses it. It's not paid for by the government, and it's not paid for by the employer either. Now, if your employer, if you got it in your contract and wants to pay it, that's fine. But for now, it would be the single payer.
Okay, and you would like the government to run that. That's.
Well, I would see that was the only way that we could, you could collect the money for it and everything else. Now, if there's a way that we could do it without Congress and the Senate and the President having their little fingers on it, yes, it would be great.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't foresee that happening.
Okay. What is the single largest problem with our healthcare system today?
Well, I think it's the cost of the insurance. We've got to do something to get the cost down, and you don't necessarily have to run around and give them tax break after tax break and this and that. I think if they could use their head and go in and rework the tort system, make doctors or any medical professional take a federal test, and that way if something happens, and you know, they make mistakes like anyone else, but if they lose their license, they can't run to another state and get their license back and practice medicine. If you lower if you rearrange the tort cases to where if the person loses work, then okay, you cover the amount of money that he's lost from work, and if they need more medical help later down the road, then they cover that. But I don't see giving them $10 million for spilling a cup of coffee.
Okay. How do you suggest we reduce our energy dependence on foreign countries?
I like the ethanol. I know some of them in the Green Party don't like the ethanol because they talk about it takes more energy to produce the ethanol. But, you know, oil companies don't want to tell you what it takes to produce that gasoline neither. I think whether we use ethanol or switchgrass or whatever, they say we import 25% of our oil. So you take and you run an ethanol or a switchgrass blend or a sugar beet blend of 40%. Then you switch over to biodiesel. Do the same thing there. And that should take away from our oil dependency. And now for the others, you got to use your head. I mean, what is the good of going with windmills if it's costing you $60,000, $75,000, $100,000 to do one windmill, and you only actually benefit maybe $100,000 out of it? You got to use your head.
Okay. Do you support more oil exploration in the U.S.?
I would, if long as it can be done without hurting your environment. You know, we're going to have to pass this on to our kids, and you're going to have to stop poisoning the ground and your water. I would like to see my great-grandkids run around here, be happy. But there is some people that, you know, as long as they make their dollar, they could care less what they do to the ground. And I think you have to take care of it, and in order to leave that on. But there are some things like the oil, going out and drilling for oil and looking for oil. I don't think it's going to hurt the environment that much just to go take a look.